Hey everyone, Colin once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and reviewing another anniversary review, and reviewing another film that was released 15 years ago, back in 2002, and I would say it's a lot better than most people, at least to me, it's a lot better than a lot of people would say it is, though. The film does get a little bit of hate for it, though, which understandable though, but I don't see it that way. I don't think it's not as bad as what people think it is. It's a film that stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, um, and which the film had some went through some problems though, but I think it's a good perform. I think it's a really good performance by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the film for the 15th anniversary review for this film that started Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 2002, and that was Collateral Damage. Now, Collateral Damage, it was originally going to be released in October 5th of 2001, but the film was pushed back to February 2002 because of the attacks on 9/11, and the film features like a bit of terrorism, bombing, and stuff like that. So relate to the 9/11 attack. So that's why the film was pushed a few months ahead into 2002. So yeah, because of due to the 9/11 attacks, and also there was an original trailer that showed a major bombing attack though, but that was it was scrapped and it was thrown away. So and had to do like editing of the final film and all that stuff, and also because the film was released in February, the film bombed hard at the box office because it was a big budget action film and released in February, at the beginning of February, but due to like I said, the attacks on 9/11, the film bombed hard. Has a 19% Rotten Tomatoes, a 5.5 on IMDb. I don't think it's not as bad as people think it is. I usually don't. And the film is directed by Andrew Davis, who directed The Fugitive. Like it says right there, you barely see it. But yeah, he directed The Fugitive. He directed Above the two good Steven Seagal films, Above the Law and Under Siege, which I reviewed. And I think like the next year after this, he go and direct that was based on the book Holes. So, and which is understandable because of all the 9/11 attacks, though. Which is funny that another film was originally going to be released around the time that this film did, because due to the 9/11 attacks, and that was another film that was called Bad Company. That was one that was starred Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock. That was pushed back due to another film that was pushed back due to like the mentions of 9/11. And that's another film that bombed as well. So I guess the films that are like around the time that action films that were time when the 9/11 attacks, they would push back and they flopped. Although I do say I like Collateral Damage better than Bad Company. Sad to say because I like Anthony Hopkins and I like Chris Rock though, but I think it's better. It's just a better, more of a action thriller than Bad Company is. But this film, I think it's a really good performance in Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sorry. I think it's a little bit more of a dramatic performance too. I think he does really good performance wise. Really does. Among supporting cast members, you have Elias Koteas, who for why I best know and remember playing Casey Jones from the '90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the first one and the third one. I really enjoy him as Casey Jones. He's been in other films too, but that's the one thing I remember him playing Casey Jones. You have Francesca, Neri, and you have Cliff Curtis, who's your bad guy in this. And Cliff Curtis, like I mentioned before in the reviews, I enjoy him as an actor, and like that film right there has a little bit of a role in that film. I keep on mentioning that. And he was also in Live Free or Die Hard as one of the FBI agents. And as I said before, now he's been starring in the Fear of the Walking Dead series. And I also know that he's going to have a role now coming next year with Jason Statham, Meg, about the giant megalodon. He's going to be starring in that. I look forward to seeing that. Just hope it doesn't disappoint. But yeah, that's what Cliff Curtis. I enjoy Cliff Curtis. I thought he was a good bad guy in this. John Leguizamo has a supporting role. Same with John Turturro. And the music by Graham Revell, I think it's a pretty decent score. It's not that bad of a score at all. And I think it's well directed by Andrew Davis. The film is on for like 109 minutes. I would say it has a little bit of slow spots here and there though, but overall it's not that bad of a pacing. I think it's decent pacing. I don't think it's not way too slow. It has a little bit of slow spots here and there though, but I think the pacing was pretty decent. And but like I said, the film doesn't. I don't think the film doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. I don't think it's not that bad of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, and probably because of the one thing I find interesting is that this is more of an action thriller. But I never once saw Arnold Schwarzenegger use a gun. He does like a couple of hand-to-hand combat stuff, and he does use some other tools for weapons though. But he never got to shoot. He never once shot a gun in this film, which I find kind of pretty weird, and also pretty interesting because for an action thriller, because everyone knows that Arnold Schwarzenegger is always this big action star, always guns and explosions though, but no, I thought it was kind of interesting his character because he plays a fireman, and just a normal guy who's a fireman, and he never wants to use a gun. He does know some knowledge of using explosives though, but never once shot a gun. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. And what the story is that he plays a fireman by the name of Gordon Brewer. Sometimes he calls by Gordy. Which, of course, when I hear the name Gordy, I think of the pig of the other, Babe film, Gordy. It's not though, but Gordy the pig. Kind of reminds me of that when he's called Gordy, but he's called Gordon Brewer. And I thought it was a good sequence when when him and his crew are saving people from a burning building. Good fire sequences. And then it shows him playing with his wife and his son. His son. Which I can see that he has love how he loves his son and his wife. The bond between him and his family. It shows, and. But then his wife and his son were at one point, and Brewer was going to go help pick him up, and then there was these officials, where some are Colombian people, officials basically, and then there's some other American agents. One of them is played by Elias Koteas, plays his character name of Brandt, and you have Cliff Curtis, who goes by the name of Claudio, or as his name is like the Lobo, the Wolf. He's posing as a cop, and he sees Arnold just briefly. And just when he's walking over to his wife, a bomb explodes. Which was the motorcycle he rode in, and it explodes, killing some people, killing some of the official people, but then also Arnold's wife and son were killed as well. And you felt really bad. I felt bad for him, sympathy for him, because he lost his family. And then the U.S. government, they see a tape, which of a Lobo, the wolf. Oh, I can't even want to. The tape, because he's blacked out and dubbing his voice to being recognized. It's like telling him stay out of Colombia, and this and that, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, he recognizes the guy, or knows who he is because he saw him, but there's nothing more he can do. And when he's at home, he's on the TV. This news guy, saying talk about when the woman's asking him, but what happened with the two innocent people, the woman and the child, and where the guy says the tense in the title, they were collateral damage. And Arnold, I like the scene where Arnold, he gets pissed and he goes and barges into this guy's office and starts tearing shit up in his office, smashing his computer, taking a baseball bat. He's like, "Oh, is this you like this? Is this collateral damage for you?" and all that. And I don't blame him. Just he's just lost his family, and the guy says they're collateral damage, and he goes and breaks everything in the guy's place. And then the cops, the officials come in, they tase him. So, but he's not fully arrested. So now when he goes back, he wants to get into he wants to go to the place where the bad guy is at in Colombia. And he gets advice from when one of his firefighter friends get hands of a guy who works with the government. Tell him where to go to find the guy. And he shows him. He shows him going over to the place, jungle and all that. And then he gets chased by some of the gorillas there. And then it shows him he goes and jumps off a cliff into the river. And then Cliff goes back with Cliff Curtis, tells him the guy, because they found that he left his backpack there and have his ID on him, so he tells him who the guy is and he knows him and he wants him. So then Arnold, he gets in this spot where there's in a crowd and there's some officials and the gorillas are both getting after him, and some hectic things goes on, but he gets arrested. But Arnold gets arrested. He gets put in the in the prison, and that's where he meets John Turturro, playing a character by the name of Sharon Armstrong. He's Canadian, and he wants to ask for his pass so he can go over to towards where the bad guys are. And Cliff Curtis, he sends him and his guerrilla men. They bomb the place. And then they go in. They kill some policemen. They let some of his captured guerrilla fighters out. And he sees Arnold, but they can't get to him. He says, "Oh, let him burn." And he knocks one guy out, holding a saw who's been cutting through the locks of the cells. And he's telling John Turturro, he's like, "Oh, let me out, man, let me out." And it's like, "Oh, okay," but because he wants to get his pass. So it's like, "Okay, well, you can't let me burn." It's like, "No, you're not gonna burn. That's the last thing. First, you're first you gotta what was he say? It's like your socks are gonna ignite, and then your toenails are gonna melt off." And he's like, "Okay, here you go." So he lets him out, and they both get out together. and tells him there's a guy, and John Turturro tells him the guy named Felix to go to him, and then he tells him good luck, and he runs off, and he disappears, and that's the last we see of John Turturro. And just John Turturro, for the little role he had, sharing with Arnold, I think he was not that annoying like he is like in the Transformer films. I don't think he was not that annoying, honestly, because I think that's like a lot better than his role in the Transformer films. Is what was his name, Agent Simmons from like Sector 7. And I know he has like a useless role in Last Night. He's only there to talk to Anthony Hopkins on the phone, give him info about this book, about those horns that's popping out of the ground. That's it. There was no need to him to come back for the Last Night. Just he's only there to talk to Anthony Hopkins to give him info, and that's it. But in this role, for the little role that he had, I thought he was fine. So he tells him where he needs to go, and he goes and talks to the guy Felix, and he's played by John Leguizamo. And John Leguizamo, his role, which I noticed that he's wearing a Metallica shirt, and he helps with the drugs, and all that stuff. And he needs what he does say a funny line. It's like, "Oh, you the mechanic?" And he's like, "Where's Sean?" And he's like, "Oh, fine. It's like ordering a pizza. I need a Canadian bacon. I get it as a German sausage." I thought that was a funny line. And I like John Leguizamo as an actor, and he's a fun actor. I like watching. So he takes him to this place to let him fix the generator, and there was a guy that was give the pass to for him to get clearance. That guy went to see Cliff Curtis because he didn't recognize who the guy was because it was given a false name, and I thought that was shows what an evil guy that Cliff Curtis is. He forces the guy down and forces his mouth open with the mechanical thing that forces his mouth open. And he goes and puts a poisonous snake right down his throat. I was like, oh my god, I was like, oof. He just goes to Cliff Curtis, he goes and puts a snake right all the way down the guy's throat. I was like, okay, that shows this guy doesn't mess around. He's like, he expects no mistakes. And with Arnold, as he's fixing the generator, he's seeing me because, like I said, he knows what to do with explosives, and he does a couple of things, and he plans, and he when more of the guerrillas show up, he ignites an explosive like a grenade, and it blows up like this whole shipment of cocaine and all that. But now because of this, one of the soldiers shoots John Leguizamo. And Arnold's underneath their truck, and he sees John Leguizamo get shot, and you see that John Leguizamo looks at him just before. You see his eyes were on him, but then his eyes don't before he dies. So he kind of sees him looking back at each other just before John Leguizamo dies. I'm not sure if Arnold Schwarzenegger felt sorry for him. He was in the middle of all this. I don't know. But I was just going by what the look he had when John Leguizamo got shot. So he gets on the truck, and he's in the street, and he plants where another grenade is at in this building, and then he sees this woman and her little boy, which he saw earlier, and before the explosive goes off, and kind of reminded of his wife and his son. It's like, no, get back, and saves them, but then ultimately that leads them to get captured by Cliff Curtis. And you find out that that woman is played by Francesca Neri, is Cliff Curtis's wife, and she explains that the whole story that Cliff Curtis, he wasn't wasn't like this. He was a teacher. Then they had a daughter and was killed. And so now he took the things in his own hands, and now became like this leader of the guerrilla fighters. And the boy was orphaned, so they took him in. So, and when Cliff Curtis just goes and talks with Arnold, and he's like, and what's the difference between you and I? And Arnold says, the difference is I'm gonna kill you. And he gets into a couple of like a struggle with Cliff Curtis and some other guys, two other guys. At one point, I saw for one point he grabbed Cliff Curtis by the balls and throws him, and Arnold, he goes and bites one of the guy's ears off, or a piece of his ear. He goes like he's biting and spits a piece of it out. It's like, oh. So yeah, Arnold didn't need a gun. He goes and just goes and beat the crap out of these guys, and goes and bites a piece of a guy's ear off and spits it out. But then he gets knocked out again. And then later, that the woman, Claudio's wife, sets him free. As when back the whole thing with the American intelligence, Elias Koteas, they find out where Arnold's at, and he found him. So now him and the choppers are going in. They're shooting up the place. He gets some good explosions. While Arnold and the woman, the boy, they get out, and gets to fight one of the Elias Koteas' men. And there's a minefield. And there's one point where he tries to go past a mine with a pickaxe to find where the mines are at. And we get a fight with this one soldier. That soldier gets blown up by one of the mines, and they see Elias Koteas saying, you know, we still fear with terror. Is like, and Arnold's like, why? But you're killing innocent women and children, you know, better than they are. And it's a good line. I didn't say the line better though, but it's a good dramatic line by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So they're brought back to the States, and Elias, there was another line between him and Elias Koteas. It's like Elias Koteas says that you know, this would be a good TV show. You know, a fireman and a refugee. Make a good TV show, and he's like, and you can play the asshole. Arnold says to him, that's another funny line. You can play the asshole. And because they brought the wife in because they know to know what's the next bomb that he's planning at. And shows the Cliff Curtis, you know, with a haircut and all that, and he leaves a briefcase where this homeless guy gets it. Where this homeless guy gets it, and the wife, Francesca, Neri, says he wants to use the restroom, and she wants to take the boy, and but he doesn't want to go though, so. And in which this is I thought this was a pretty good twist. I thought there was a twist that was a good twist. I pretty much didn't see it coming, basically. Yeah, I could honestly say that I didn't see this twist coming. Where when I first saw it, I didn't see the twist coming. Is that Arnold, he goes to the back wall where there are pictures, you know, from the wolf, from the tape, shows still photos. It shows, which also remember from the tape, that to show that in the tape, and you saw the still photos of the same thing, it showed that the wolf was doing this. You know, get out to Colombia and doing this. And he saw that and realizes that the wife, she's the wolf, because she did when she was going to use the restroom to take the son, she did this as well, and he puts two and two together that she's the wolf, and the bomb, the bomb, it was not in the briefcase where the homeless guy took it. It was empty. It was a fake. And the toy dinosaur they brought in through customs, that's the bomb. And Arnold, he knocks out the window in the ceiling and throws it. Boom, sets the place, that whole place where they're at, shaken up, glass everywhere, all that stuff, and good effect. And she even, in the bathroom, she kills a female agent, which is actually played by Jane Lynch. I know I've seen her in other films, though. I was like, oh, is that really her? Jane Lynch? Wow. I didn't even realize that. Probably must have been like an early role or something like that, though, but... Or probably not, because I looked up there where she did films before this, though, but... I was like, okay, it's Jane Lynch, as an agent. She hits her, knocks her out, but then snaps her neck and takes the gun. And Elias Koteas, he figures this out. So he sees him where Arnold's on the cameras, and he goes down there. He goes down there too. When the elevator doors open, where another dead agent's in there, he starts shooting. But then Francesca Neri shoots Elias Koteas in the head, shoots him dead. And that's a sequence where Arnold goes down to the cables in the elevators, and Cliff Curtis is down where the tunnels are, waiting for the woman, for his wife. And then Arnold follows after them. He gets the controls where the gates are at, closes them, and he gets an axe to puncture these gas pipes. And it's like they have like a standoff. He's standing there, and they're down there, and he's yelling, "It's over!" And she's saying, "It's never over." And she starts shooting. It ignites the gas. Now I will say this is a nitpick though, but when Arnold he's running away from the flames, it's not that one's not that good of an effect. The CGI flames, even when he closes the door behind him, the CGI door and the flames, that didn't look well. I'll give it that though. It's a nitpick though, but when he's closed the door, the CGI fire and door flying behind him, that effect did not look right though. But I'll give it that though. But there was also just this. For the rest of the film, there were some nice, good explosions. Looked like real explosives. But that one, that didn't hold up. But at least it's a nitpick, though. But the two of them, they survive the explosion. They both are attacking Arnold. And he throws Francesca Neri into this control board. And she gets electrocuted. And then he takes on Arnold. And he goes and says... So when he says, "When are you going to kill me?" and he says, "Now!" and throws an axe right here, kills Cliff Curtis. I like his response is like, "Now!" throws it at him, just kills him. And that's it. And he takes the boy with him. And you hear on the news report saying that he's going to be given a citizen medal, from by the president. He's not gonna, but he's still not able to comment, and that's it. So yeah, I enjoy the movie. I don't think it's not as bad of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film that people make it out to be. It's definitely not that bad of a movie at all. I really do enjoy Collateral Damage. I would put this as an underrated Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Good performance. I would not make it as much underrated like as other ones like End of Days. I find it much more underrated than this film, but 'cause I love End of Days. That's his most underrated one. But still, I would put this as a list of underrated Schwarzenegger films. I would. Well, there's not that many though, but I would definitely put this there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he gives an excellent performance. I enjoy his performance. Elias Koteas for this character is Agent Brand. I thought he did really fine. I like him as an actor, especially when he plays Casey Jones. Francesca Neri and Cliff. I thought she was fine too. Cliff Curtis. I thought he was, for the most part, he was a really good bad guy. At least to me, because I enjoy Cliff Curtis. I thought he was a good, solid bad guy. John Leguizamo was nice to see him. Same with John Turturro. Like I said before, I think he was not annoying as like the Transformer films, but I think it was fine for the little role that he had. And I enjoyed the story because Arnold Schwarzenegger goes on this journey for revenge for his family, which you felt sorry for him, you felt bad for him, losing his whole family while no one else does nothing. He's going to take it, so he goes and takes it into his own hands to find and kill the person who killed his family. So you feel complete sympathy for his character. And not once using a firearm. He does use some explosives because he's a fireman, so he knows how to do some of the things. But I thought it was interesting. He never used a firearm, a gun, nothing. He does like a couple of punches and hand-to-hand combats, and I guess for one side, bites a piece of the guy's ear off. That was cool. And then he uses an axe and goes and throws it and kills Cliff Curtis. So yeah, he did a lot of things he shows he can do without using a firearm, like his other action films. And the action scenes, I thought they were good. They get some nice, good explosives. Looks like some real explosions, except for that one CGI explosion at the end with, like I said, with the gas and all that. That didn't the flames and that didn't hold up well. But the rest of the excuse me, the rest of the action, I thought it was good. And like I said, the pacing has a little bit of slow spots though, but for the most part, throughout the whole film, it was decent pacing. And like I said, and the score by Graham Revella, I liked. And the twist, like I mentioned, I didn't see that when I first saw this. I didn't see coming. I didn't see that the whole time there was the woman, the wife. She was the wolf. I thought that was a good twist. Not a bad one. I thought it was a really good twist. That the whole time it was the wife who was the one who was the wolf. And well directed by Andrew Davis. This is too bad that this film flopped hard. At a budget of $85 million, at the overall wide made $78. Well, who knows if it did come out on that October release date in 2001? Maybe it would still been a success, or maybe it would still been a flop though. But still, moving the release dates due to the 9/11 attacks, either way, the film, especially being released in the start of February, just when January is ending, because usually January is a hard month for big budget films, to be successes, because you get a lot of flops in December. That's why I keep on pointing to that, because that film came out in December. I meant January, I didn't mean. But also the start of February as well. So this film tanked hard at the box office. But I with that one little nitpick, like I said, with that one explosion at the end, I don't see anything else wrong with the movie. This is for one person from Wireless Magazine, a first-class suspense-filled thriller. I thought it's good for a thriller, for such an action thriller. It was good. And Roger Ebert, and Richard Roeper gave this film 2 thumbs up right there. So Roger Ebert liked the movie. Same with Richard Roeper. And as for features, has audio commentary with director Andrew Davis, has some behind the scenes, and the Hero New Era. So pretty much a making of trailer, and that's pretty much it. And it was another good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Definitely a very good performance by him. Especially a little more dramatic. I definitely liked it a lot better than the new ones that he's been doing. But I definitely like it a lot better than Maggie. Well, his performance in Maggie was good though, but it was just overall this is a dull drama, zombie film. For which there wasn't much about zombies in the film, but except to protect his zombified daughter, pretty much infected daughter. But his performance was good though. But I still think this film was much better than Maggie. Definitely a lot better than Escape Plan, and I definitely like a lot better than Sabotage. Whether there was this new film that came out this year. It was a film. I forget what the film was. It had to deal with him losing his family in the airplane crash. And he's blaming that guy who's in the control tower responsible. I saw the trailer earlier this year. I forget what the title was. It looks like a good performance by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm curious to check that one out though. But the new films he's been doing recently, this is definitely a lot better. And especially it's another underrated performance, I would say. And like I said, good bad guy by Cliff Curtis. The good twist, action, score, pacing. Like I said, it's not a nitpick though, but it's just a little bit soft spots though, but still decent pacing. Supporting cast the rest of the supporting cast was good. Action, definitely good, great performance. Especially a little more dramatic performance from Arnold. And it's not the typical action film where, such as for a star like Arnold, he does not use one's firearm, not one bit. I thought it was kind of an interesting thing. He never uses a gun in the movie. So yeah, and good directed by Andrew Davis. I don't know what happened to Andrew Davis. He directed like a film called The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner. That was back in 2006, and since then he hasn't done much really enough. I don't know why. I don't know why he's not directing anything else today. I mean, he directed good films like Above the Law, Under Siege, and The Fugitive, which is his most successful film. I don't know whatever happened to Andrew Davis. Oh, and I think also he directed another film with the Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman called Chain Reaction as well. I have to review that sometime. I thought that was a decent film because I like Keanu Reeves. That's another film that he also directed though, but whatever happened to Andrew Davis, who knows? Because he made some good films. And I would say it's a good film that he directed as well. So yeah, I enjoy Collateral Damage. 15 years later, it's still a good movie, at least to me. But it's not loved by everybody else, but at least I enjoy it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the 15th anniversary of Collateral Damage. I would give it a thumbs up, to me. So yeah. I'm just doing something on here for a second. Yeah, there you go. But like I said, it's not loved by everybody else, but it's understandable though. But I still think it's a good film. I don't think it deserves the 90% Rotten Tomatoes. I definitely don't think so. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed this film. This review of it, of my 15th anniversary of Collateral Damage. If you haven't seen this film, check it out. If you're a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you've not seen this film, I recommend you watch it. Especially when he gives a good performance as well. And if anyone is a fan of Fear of the Walking Dead, you can watch it for a good villainous performance by Cliff Curtis, especially what he does with the snake scene. So if anyone's a fan of, I'm just throwing that out, if anyone's a fan of Fear of the Walking Dead. But yeah, Collateral Damage is a good film to me. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.